Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's question and answer session with Mr. Chris Palmer and myself, sponsored by odys.cc if you're interested in aged or expiring domain names or anything like that. If you're just new here, please do like and subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're from. And if you, as I say, are new here, we answer any questions you want to throw at us, digital marketing related. Try and make sure it's a...
relevant. Make sure that it's relevant.
Yeah. So please don't ask very basic generic questions that you are able to Google yourself. But if there is anything else you want to know, then put it in the chat and we will be more than happy to try and answer it as best we can. So let me just see what's going on here. Let us know who is there. We've got Andy Woolley. We'll come to your questions and stuff like that. We have Mr. Make Money Boy. Regardless of how long someone waits, unfortunately, we cannot start any earlier just because people do have other work to be doing. But thank you very much for being patient, and yeah, we appreciate it. Can we do a live weekly show? I'm doing 2 just now. 2 is enough. Maybe someone else has a show that they could let you on, and you can talk to them. But we need to know who you are first and foremost.
Yeah.
But we have Andy Woolley, Mr. Paul Delaney, Adam Poland, Michael Murray,
nice little crew.
Michael Likens, which will come through and answer your questions in just a moment. But we'll just let people get into the channel and get ready with their questions. But Chris, before we go to the questions, what is new with you? Anything exciting?
Nothing exciting. Just working on a couple projects. That's all. Just working. Dentist. It's a big one. Just working, man. Just working.
Working, grinding.
That's it. That's it.
Sadly, man, what we've got to do. Nah, it's not sad at all. Actually,
no. In the meantime.
But what we'll do is just crack on with a couple of quick questions from the guys here. Andy Woolley, he needs to repoint a UK age domain to a new domain for the American market, consolidating 3 websites. What's your advice for redirects, content, etc.? Plus, will I lose some of the link juice, domain authority, etc.? You are likely to lose some of that. But Chris, what would you do in this instance?
Yeah, I'd be taking a look at the pages that actually had the majority of the links, probably the homepage and a couple of those internals. I'd set it up HTA. I'd set it up through HTA first. And then I would just wait. I wouldn't just go to the registrar or hosting level and just 301 the entire thing. I'd probably do it based on the HTA access, just the pages that mattered. Let that run, let that, get crawled a couple times, wait a couple caches. And then to answer your secondary question there, you are going to lose some, unless it's completely highly relevant is the only time I would say that you're probably going to get a little bit less loss, but you're still going to lose a little bit of oomph. To maximize the amount of power, I would make sure to only the pages that have traffic. If you really want to get that to pass, only the pages that have traffic and a little bit of equity. Those are the pages.
So I've got another question just loaded onto this question. Well, it's kind of related. They did kind of ask about it. So say you're in this position, Chris, and yes, the new website. So you've got 5 pages on this new website, but you've got 100 pages of content. Are you just throwing those other 95 pages worth of content in the bin? Or would you make sure that they dropped out the index and utilized elsewhere, maybe in a PBN or something like that? If there was good, solid content, even though that wasn't getting traffic, is there a way you could make that get traffic? Is there a way you could utilize that content? Because content's money.
100%. Yeah, I would never just waste it. I might run it through a PDF scheme. I might utilize it for releases. I might freshen it up and utilize it onto the new site. I like your idea with the PBN or even a web 2 PBN, something. I would repurpose that. I would never throw away money. Never.
Just I think that's an important part of the mix. If you inherit or get an asset, try and utilize as much of it as you possibly can, not necessarily on the new website, for example, because you might be wanting to trim down and a load of stuff on there or whatever, or you might not even offer some of those services, but there's still a way to utilize that content, in my opinion, whether that be PBN, Web 2.0 releases and all of that stuff. So I just wanted to highlight that for people. Never throw anything in the bin is the right answer. I'm like a gypsy man hoarder. I ain't letting nothing go.
No, or let it go and someone else will snatch it up.
Well,
to be honest with you. Yeah.
Maybe someone using one of your tools. Something like that, Chris. But to answer Live IRL fans' question, I didn't get round to it. It is on my notepad to look at. But yeah, I've not had a look at it as yet. But Chris, I like Live IRL fan. He very rarely asks SEO specific questions, more YouTube questions, and I think that's obviously a topic that both you and I thoroughly enjoy, trying to understand more. Have you looked into these Vietnamese phone farm things for YouTube or anything like that?
Nothing for YouTube. I've looked at them. Right. Nothing to this degree or this specifically. But I've most certainly looked at them. I think maybe we're looking in the wrong direction. Maybe I'd be looking for something totally different, which, I have looked at them. It's not for me. Anything that they're doing at mass scale over there, I'm not interested in. I want to be able to create and own my own traffic. I want to have it. If I'm going to create a network, it's going to be based on me and mine in my area. That's going to be relevant, which is easily accessible with a magnitude of different tools for remote access for Android devices. That's what I'd be looking for. So, yeah.
And I think, wait a minute, I just clicked on something. Comments. I think Michael, give me a second to go back to it. He checked the channel out. It's all Vietnamese though. Would love to have a rig where he can control all of the phones and software and all that kind of stuff. So Michael has the right idea. It's just how you rig all of that up and make it work, which is the biggest pain in the ass. Especially for someone who's not that technical like me. I know you're a bit more geeky like that, Chris. Yeah. But when I say geeky, I mean that with respect. Just because I'm not good at it, it's geeky.
No, it's true.
But Theo was here. Thank you,
hey, Theo.
Good to see you. Andy Woolley, Gary Farmer, Gary Charmer, he's now calling himself. Simon Hogbin, good to see you, mate. Michael Murray, do you build citations on a regular basis for your money website? Do they help move the needle? So on your local stuff, once it's ranking, Chris, do you continue with citations?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, you got to go back and freshen them up. They drop. Not on a monthly basis, but yeah, you need to rebuild. Definitely, I'm gonna go rebuild them. I mean, not your top 6 like your 4 squares and these types of, but I'm gonna go back and reissue them. Maybe once we get into month 3 or 4. Definitely.
I think I'm not the best person to ask this to, purely because, like, for SEO Glasgow, for example, I'm position 1 and I've not done citations for the last 5 years, so I don't have to freshen them up. And the other businesses that I do own are more international businesses, so we don't rely on local traffic and stuff like that. So I've never really got too hung up in the GMB game, but I think it would also depend on your niche. I have worked with local clients and I've got people doing reasonably well. You have to do what the competition are doing. Sometimes one bunch of citations will work. sometimes you need a second or even a third blast of them. But I do know that one of my friends who owns SEObuilder.com, he does offer a monthly package where you can keep that fresh. And I think it's something like $45 a month, and he will do that for you and just make sure that you're getting more and more and more. And hopefully when that's the case, you know, a lot more of them are sticking, because he's not just repeatedly putting you on the same garbage. He can't, you know, that wouldn't be fair. So there are those options on SEO Builder, but I think it comes down to the level of competition. And I think probably, Chris, to in your favour, I think America, when it comes to GMB, you'd probably have to do that. I'm not so sure in the UK how often you have to do that. I know you guys are a hell of a lot more competitive on a local level, whereas here on a local level, it is literally normally not that hard, believe it or not. But that's obviously, you just need to weigh up the levels of competition. People in America are bloody obsessed by GMBs. So that's, they understand the value of it.
And I feel bad for the guys coming after that SEO Glasgow when the top guy's sitting on a DR54 domain.
Yeah.
Dang, you got a long run, boys.
Paul Delaney has a question on a Web 2.0s, which was a post that went up on my website earlier. You mentioned using them as a buffer between a PBN website and a money website, if I read it right. Is that best practice? Not particularly, between the PBN and I mean, it can be. I use Web 2.0s to power up the PBN in most cases. That is essentially, it's not as a buffer as such. That you could use it as a potential buffer if you wanted to, but I certainly wouldn't be pointing Web 2.0s to my money website and then pointing a PBN at those. So I think you've misunderstood what was on that post. So it's certainly not a buffer like that. If I was going to have any buffer, it would be something like a PR article or a guest post or something. That would be the buffer between my website and a PBN or Web 2.0s or anything else that's underneath that. So, yeah, that is the best way to do it. Chris, what would you say to that?
Well, I think he just has it in reverse, right? He's saying a buffer in between. The Web 2 may be coming into the PBN, but if you've created a PBN, I don't know why I would need any. I created that. I don't know why. Yeah, I think you just have it in reverse. Nothing. Yeah.
So follow that, Paul. Do backlinks to a no index page pass link juice, in your opinion?
Yes. That's 100%. It's not an opinion.
That's something you genuinely have tested, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's always good to know. And I'm not trying to trip you up by asking that. I just want these guys to understand the difference between opinion and saying this bloody works. So there you go, Sebastian. Andy Woolley, do the top level pages first. You're always going to get a dip. There's very few people get away with no dip. But again, just comes down to the levels of competition and everything in the niche that you're in. But good luck with it, Andy. Michael Likens, Google says all real estate agents at a brokerage can have their own GMB in addition to the brokerage. Won't they cannibalize there? What would you recommend? Individual and brokerage?
I mean, I think that the individual is good, but you're at a disadvantage from the gate, because obviously the prominence is going to go to obviously whoever is closest to the proximity of the searcher, but more importantly, who's more authoritative. So if you're branched off of Realty Network or whatever, and you're in the same town or the same city, who's going to get prominence in the pack, right? So I'm sure they will give it to you, but it doesn't matter. Whoever's most authoritative is always going to still win, unless you're the one driving the clicks. You're the ones getting the traffic, right? And which you're probably not compared to them. So good luck, though. I would still do it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Why not? Push your luck.
Always. That's right.
Guys, if you are enjoying the show, please do give the video a like, please. Craig Mullins, if in fact, live IRL fan, can you share the link in here for Craig Mullins and anyone else that might want to see that video? I think quite a lot of the regulars on here will see you regularly asking questions. And let's put it here. The channel name is Phones Farm Pro Max. He wants his own rig, so he's full control. He doesn't trust other people, which is the best way to look at it. But it's also good to see how the guys are operating. So check it out, Craig Mullins. It is always wise to check that shit out.
And live, I would be looking at enterprise level for IT technicians, remote access for IT technicians, right? You know, when people like companies, hotels, hospitals, you know, they distribute the phones and it'll come with pre-installed enterprise level applications. Well, those predisposed applications allow access to IT remotely from anywhere in the world. So if you're thinking about doing this, these are the solutions that you need to be looking for, because they already exist. They're already out there and they work very well. So just to get you on the right path of if you're looking into this, I've already thought about this heavily. That's the route you want to go. And then you're looking for a custom solution based on that. Good luck.
Yes.
Very good. You know, 5-6 grand, you'll be there.
BKSEO, good to see you. Paul Clark, how you doing, mate? Paul Delaney got it back to front, but I'm going to check it because my content writer may have got mixed up. They were pulling that from a video I done, so I'm just going to double check that they didn't write that and got it back to front themselves. But Chris, question for you. How do you deploy CTR devices for organic local rankings, not GMBs? How much do you have to push it, and for how long before you see some results in a medium competitive niche?
If you're thinking about doing CTR, that means that you're already on the second page. That means that the foundational elements are already in place. It's just a matter of running click traffic, right? You're trying to get the difference between you and them on the first or up at the top positions is the amount of people clicking on that listing, right? Which is the only reason why you'd be doing CTR. So with that being said, the amount is going to be determined based on who's currently winning. Who's winning and for what keywords? And it's not the primary keywords. I made a training walking like through this in depth. You know, I think I spent 2 hours on it. I laid it all out. I gave it away for free. It's on the channel.
Check it out, Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube. All-purpose work. Should I allow AdSense on my Amazon affiliate website? Will it have a positive or negative effect in your opinion, Chris?
AdSense on an Amazon affiliate website, will it have a positive, negative effect? A positive effect. Yeah, you pay Caesar's what Caesar's. So wait, should I allow AdSense on my, you're not pumping traffic to it. You want to put AdSense on your affiliate site?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to make anything. I've tried this on domains. It's not worth it. The amount that it slows you down, I don't think it's worth it. I haven't seen it. I haven't been able to generate enough traffic to cake up off the traffic. You know, if you're in the right niche and you're getting enough traffic, maybe it would make sense. But I would rather focus my energy on deploying more products, deploying more affiliate like pages. So that's up to you, but it's going to slow you down, and you need a lot of traffic to make money or be in a very competitive niche, right? Yeah. Like something where the traffic's worthwhile. So that's all I have to say about that. I thought he meant like running traffic to the page, which is heck yeah.
Nah, I think a lot of people sabotage their own Amazon affiliate websites when they start running AdSense on there. I get that you want to have multiple revenue streams, but one, as Chris says, it slows the website down quite considerably. And secondly, I think it massively impacts your conversions because your customers are going to be irritated by those ads. So I just wouldn't bother. It's not worth the money that you make from it. And good to see you, Mr. Kyle McLean. Craig Mullins, Google probably only going to see one agent for one location in real estate office.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Who's the prominent? Makes perfect sense.
And thank you, Mr. Woolley, for liking the video. Anyone else want to drop a like, please do. NK, how much do outbound links matter in terms of SEO? Yeah, it helps for user experience, but does it really help to increase your search or SERP ranks?
That's how the web works. Outlinking to sites that are relevant 1 or 2 times makes sense, and it's healthy for the web. A quality site's going to outlink to other quality resources.
Yeah.
So I think it's just part of the equation. I think you should be doing it, and be very mindful of where you're linking to and passing your dues, right? I mean, I don't think that's even an issue, but just be mindful.
Yeah, I mean, if you were Google, Chris, and you've seen a whole bunch of guys that were doing, normal outbound links to, relevant websites, or you've seen some websites that just wouldn't outbound link to anything, who would you penalize first?
The guy trying to hold all the money. All the power.
Exactly. So that's the way I would look at it. If I was Google, would I see that as kind of being a selfish move and potentially say, right, you're not playing the game? There's a bit of a slap. That just goes on in my own head. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it will come out in the future. Who knows?
Even if you follow it, Google's still going to crawl it and see it and run with it. I mean, if you're really that worried, it's still good to outbound link. You can follow them. Google's still going to crawl them and follow them. Do what they want to do.
Can we use GMB with a drop shipping business, Chris?
I've seen some weird stuff like this, right? In some very interesting niches as I'm looking around and scouring for ideas, right? I've seen some guys where it seems like that kind of play, like an affiliate / they're drop shipping. So I think it can be done if you're crafty and skillful. I think it could be done. Sure. Definitely.
If there's traffic to be had from that and you're going to create sales from it, then why wouldn't you try it? Is what I would say. So there's traffic there, so do it. Paul Clark, do you think EAT is an off-page thing? So Google could be looking at qualifications, etc., of the people linking to you. This could well be a DADR killer, and the backlink tools need to modify for this. So what's your opinion on that, Chris?
Well, I think that's like 2 things mixed together. But to me, EAT is just a basic guideline for good practice, right? You should have a privacy. You should have a terms. You should have a contact us. You should list your hours, right? Or whatever it is. I think it's just a guideline. I don't think that it's one or the other. These are just things that you should just have on your page. It just makes sense to me. Do I think that it's a DR, slaughterer or anything like that? I don't think so. I think that it's going to affect the way that you're ranking, though, when everyone else that's winning is doing these things and you're not. It's going to hinder your ability to succeed. So I hope that helps you. Just do it. It's easy. Yeah. Sorry.
Donations to Mr. Mullins and Mr. Chase Rayner.
Is Chase Mr. McMoneyboy? Mr. Make Money Boy or no?
I'm not so sure, man. Like Chase Make Money Man is here. Man. Chase, just clarify this. Is this Mr. Make Money Boy you, your apprentice, your VA, something like that? Also, Chase has just called you SEO Dads, Chris. I'm not sure that's a positive thing. No, I'm kidding on it. Is Chase is a good lad.
I have the honor to be called Dad. I love it. It took a lot of time and money to be called Dad. Yeah. Those 2 most valuable resources are spent daily. I'm proud to be Dad.
Live IRL fan. I've seen someone talk about that in a forum somewhere. Chris, thanks for the advice. I've been in a dilemma on whether I want to spend $5,000 on a phone farm or use Zeno Poster or BAS bot. I think try and retain control with something like that. Is what you want to do. So
a million. Never go where everybody else is going.
Yeah.
Who else is, I mean, never. They go right, you go left, right? So yeah, I wouldn't use those tools. Something that you want probably doesn't already exist, but what you're onto, like what I mentioned, will get you on the right track of what you need developed in order to succeed. It's just going to be costly and very time. It's not a lot of these developers don't have that very specific skill to run stuff in the background, and then when you're pitching them on it for enterprise level or monitoring your kids or whatever you're doing, it's hard to get them to play ball, so if you find somebody, let me know, man, because it's hard.
Anyway, Chase Rayner no longer exists. He's now just known as Make Money Man.
Oh, okay.
And this guy, Mr. Make Money Boy, listen, that must be a lot of flicking about between browsers there, man. You're fucking confusing me. But Lucy Belper, you wrote what to do, but I've not seen.
That is the question, right? I ask myself that every day. Chris.
Not seeing anything else pop in, so if you can put in the rest of your question, that would be good. Sebastian, when outreaching for buying a guest post, how do you negotiate for a cheaper fee, Chris?
By already doing the homework ahead of time and knowing which page makes sense for my page, and throwing a number out, which is generally going to be way lower than what they're saying. The negotiation is in a link insert, not a fresh new post, right? So it's less work for them, so it's less money, but really it's more beneficial for you and it's more cost effective. So, but you have to communicate to get to that point. You already did the work. The hard part is getting the communication to begin. That's why there's these services out there. That's where the hard part is, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. If you can get communication, you'll get a cheaper price.
What's your thoughts on Ezoic, however you say it, compared to AdSense?
Yeah, there's a lot of these platforms. I'm not sure about that one. I know I've heard that name before, but a lot of the more premium ones, you have to have X amount of traffic. And I don't think it's Ezoic. I think it's another one. And I've heard really good things. I've never used them. So that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Money Boy is saying that Neil Patel is not a real person. They've asked for proof for a birth certificate and he's not responded. Michael Murray, loved your courses on Udemy, Craig. Great value. Any more planned? I may put another couple out there, Michael. I'm not sure. For me, with Udemy, you get your usual trolls and all that stuff. Most of my content is going to be in YouTube. So if you do subscribe to the channel, you'll probably get everything on here. I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out over the next few weeks. A lot more in-depth link building stuff, an updated PBN course, and a whole bunch of other stuff that will be coming out. So it's all been recorded. It's just all been tidied up and edited, and we'll be putting it out. Now, these may also go on Udemy as well. I also have an advanced SEO course, which is going on Udemy, which I'm still recording a lot of stuff from there, but it will also be on here for free. So if you do want it for free and you don't want to pay the $20 for it, get it on my YouTube channel. The only reason that it does cost money on Udemy is because they decide that that's what it's going to be. If a course is over 4.5 hours long, and any course worth its salt is going to be longer than that, then the lowest fee that you can put on there is $20, and then they reduce the cost if they've got any daily deals or whatever. So all of that content will be in my YouTube for free. I was just trying to take advantage of the Udemy platform. So anything that's on there, you would have got on YouTube for free. I just wanted to see if there was any traffic to be gained from there. But it does seem that you've got your usual jokers on there who expect the course to hand everything in a plate, and they're paying $20 for it and then they still moan. So I'm not sure about Udemy, to be honest. But anyway, CBD Cakes loves Neil Patel. Just like I used before your
Craig, and I love you. They think it wasn't about selling the course. It wasn't. It was about getting the authority and showing up for all of those keywords because Udemy ranks so high.
Yeah.
Right? You don't care about that selling a course. It wasn't about that. It was about, hey, I show up for Black Hat now. I show up for this. I show up for that.
Yeah.
I'm just getting authority associating myself with these keywords. That's how I saw it, which was brilliant. I loved it. But you already did it, so I couldn't do it then.
Well, I couldn't. I would have loved to have given it away for free on there, but they just don't because of the thing. So $20 is the lowest you can put it. So that's the price.
It would have been better.
Yeah,
it would have been lit. You would have gotten all that traffic. That would have been awesome, dude.
But there's always some little dick on there going, "Oh, this is nothing better than a basic course," and you're just like, "Man, what is wrong with you for 20 quid? Fucking behave yourself."
20, and then, but then they'll sit on YouTube for 20 hours, and what you just taught them in an hour, right? You get what I'm saying? Like you could go through. I don't know. It's just wild, man. It's wild. I get that a lot too. It's like, $20.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. What a guy. What a generous guy, Mr. Chase Rayner. Here's to the first 100K month. Cheers, guys. Glad you got there, Mr. Make Money Man, formerly known as Chase Rayner. Good to see that you are making money and being successful. That's what we always want to see other people doing. You do. If anyone's watching, Chase Rayner, you probably know him. He's very well known in the industry. Hungry, puts himself in videos, takes a lot of fucking shit and stick and abuse, as we all do when you put your name out there. And hats off to him. He stuck it out and has built up a good following, and he's a very good marketer. He says some crazy stuff to get people biting, and that's what marketers do. So, well done on that, and thank you again for your very generous donation, mate.
100K. That sounds good. Times 12.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Sounds nice. Sign me up.
Take us for a beer, Chase.
Yeah.
Technoy is asking, do we need to fix all warnings and notices on Ahrefs site audit results? Do you get involved in tweaking all of that, or do you think there's a few false positives in there? Yeah,
I don't at all. It was actually, I personally don't. No.
Any tool, doesn't matter whether it's Ahrefs or anything else, there's certain things there that will flag up that you don't need to overly worry about because they don't move the needle. Fix what moves the needle.
They yell at, they'll yell at you for the extended title tags. They'll yell at you for the meta descriptions. I don't use any meta descriptions, and I like to overextend the title tag. I get yelled at for every little thing, it's like red. It's fun, man.
So Paul Delaney's asking, why is no one answering the support email address to Chase? Chase's tool is called Deplagiarizer.
Deplagiarizer?
Fucking hell, I'm going off my fucking head. Deplagiarizer. That said, that fucking throws me every time. You Americans have got some fucked up stuff going on. Deplagiarizer SEO tool. Is that deplagiarizer.com, Chase? Let me know. Guys, check it out. I've not tried it. Have you tried it, Chris?
No. Obviously I saw he made quite a few videos on it. It looks like a script. It's like a script of some sort,
Check it out, Deplagiarizer. I'll get confirmation of what the actual URL is. But check it out. I love guys that are making tools. And another little plug for Chase. Chase has got a lot of automation, if you like automation, on his TikTok channel. If you're interested in automation and all that kind of weird stuff, which I do love, then check it out because there's a lot of good stuff on there. And Chase is getting hundreds of emails a second right now. He will get to you though. But yeah, good luck with it. Andy Woolley is saying he's getting, it takes 50K traffic to get on Mediavine.
That's the one I've heard of.
The deplagiarizer will make you at least 1K per day. I'm happy to get involved. Lucy Belper. Lucy, I'm not seeing anything else other than what would you do come through for yourself. Chris, can you see anything from Lucy Belper in the chat there?
No, I don't. Just it looks like she only made two messages.
One at
12:20 and then this one.
Yeah, strange, but I'm not sure what you're asking me, Lucy, but please do let us know. Mr. Mullins.
He's cheersing us.
I'm Chase all along. Thank you, Chris. My site is in page 4 at the moment. I was just interested if there's any differences between CTR for organic and CTR for GMBs. Does the proximity matter as much for local websites?
Well, organic, yes. There is a difference in the organic ranking. You know, you're going to get a little bit variance of who's ranking if they're sitting in that same city. I run into this a lot. So yes, and then the difference is really the same as far as the words that we're sending traffic for. I think just the process of what you are going to be doing is going to be different. So it's the same thing. And also too, what I've noticed is the volume is still low, but it might take longer to see advancements. It's not like maps. Maps I'll see, you know, you can get movement pretty quickly. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully I answered it better.
Yep. And hello to Rich Devman. Good to see Rich. You actually got here, my man. Chase is saying 50% affiliate with his new tool, Chris. That's why he's been trying to call you. He has tried to call me, and I actually apologize. I forgot all about that, Chase. I'm trying to stay off of Facebook, man. I get fucking bombarded on. So I will. I'm about tomorrow and Friday. I will give you a bell tomorrow or Friday, Chase. See if there's anything I can do to help you promote it. But let me know the domain name anyway, so we can promote it in here and let the guys know what the hell this tool is. Deplagiarize or something. Let me know if it's .com or whatever. Put it up. But guys, if you've got any other questions, give us them. Don't sit there lurking and not ask. Make sure you do ask any questions you want. We still have 22 minutes left. Also, make sure you do stick a like on the video. But I'm just going to find Chase's domain, Deplagiarizer. I'm not sure if it's going to be publicly out there. I'm struggling to find it. Just searching myself. Chase, let us know what it is. I wouldn't mind having a quick look at it while we're on here, so that if anyone else is watching, they know what the hell we're actually.
Yeah, you would think that. Well, maybe it's not .com. I don't see it either.
Plagiarizer. Yeah, because I'm going to assume it's a very new tool, so it might not yet be indexed. I don't know if it's something that's maybe in beta mode or something like that, Chase, but let us know. Paul Delaney is somehow using it though, but yeah, let us know how he's got it. We've not. Only kidding, Paul. VK SEO, done some micro workers for about a month and emulators for a week or two. Have seen some bumps, but I don't know where the direct result of his signals. So yeah, I mean, I think you have to, with anything like that, you're going to have to do single testing. You know, you can't do micro workers for a month and then move on to something else. You need to figure out what works and what doesn't. And give it a bit of time. What would you say to Chris on this? Someone who's maybe chopping and changing what they're testing in terms of CTR.
Well, those two. Yeah, either regardless of whether you're on maps or on organic. If you're on organic, I'm not going to run micro workers or anything else until I'm at the top of page 2 or the bottom of page 1. For maps, if I'm not sitting in position 5 or 6 or 7, most notably, I like to do like 4, 5, 6. Like I'm just right there. Then I'll start running it. Other than that, then it's not worth it at all. because there's too much volatility. There's too much fluctuation going on. Like, you're not going to know, hey, was it the links that I built? Was it the content that I freshened? Was it this that I sent? Like, it's nuts, man. So
yeah,
I would make sure you're in position before that.
it makes sense. And this tool of Chases is in beta mode just now, so you can't just publicly get to it, but we will share it in due course if you guys are interested in it, which I'm sure you will. Michael Murray, do you split your budget and content and links 50-50 or more in links? That depends on the state of play of the website. It could even be heavily weighted in favor of content initially. You know, for example, if someone asked me to do a website and and there's no content there, I can't just build links to content that's not there. So the majority of the the budget for the first few months would tend to go on content and fixing any kind of technical issues or whatever it might be, and then you start to split between content and links. Now, of course, I think adding fresh content all the time, I think that is always a good, healthy thing. But ongoing in terms of budget, you'd probably be something like 60 or 70-30 in favour of links going forward, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So, but that can differ from time to time. If you get a website and it's just absolute garbage, nothing gets spent in links in the first couple of months, sort out the foundations first, get the keywords targeted, and all that kind of stuff, and then go from there. But what would you say, Chris?
Especially in the early months, it's usually more, the budget is usually allocated towards content, and then the time spent to, if it's not already optimizing it, restructuring the site. I think that the foundational elements is where the majority of the budget is going to be allocated. Always. Yeah. Links are, I have to have the foundation first,
Well, here is another part to this story that's just come in. He's got 500 plus articles. That doesn't mean they're good articles. We would have to see these to say specifically, but let's assume here, Chris, that Michael has 500 really good articles. All his on page is decent and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously it's the usual situation where they've got reasonable on page and just absolute garbage in terms of links, and you had a budget. What would the percentage be at this point?
Well, I would spend time siloing it, right? Because you have 500 articles. So I'd be looking to create clusters or silos or something to be able to work to the main topic and then building out from there, right? And then I would be allocating a lot of budget to those top level pages that are housing all of that supporting content. So if I have 500 articles, it's really only going to be 5 different categories, right? Or whatever the case is. I'd be allocating budget to each of those. So if I had $1,000, then, I would probably spend the whole $1,000.
Yeah.
Maybe $2,000 or $3,000. You have a lot of content to fuel,
Yeah.
But would you do it differently? Craig, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I would tend to do similar, Chris. I think, again, still, where I see a lot of websites failing, and we'll come back to Jude's question in a moment, with a lot of updates and everything that have come out, I would put them down to the topical relevance and clustering and whatever else you want to call it. And I think that's so important in this day and age. And if you don't have that set up, I think you're set for failure. So, again, like I said at the start, get the basics done first, get the foundations of the website done and aligned properly, and then spend whatever you want on that. If that was me, I would spend the first couple of months probably sorting out that whole website in terms of 500 articles, siloing it out, checking the on page was good and all that kind of stuff. And then 100% of the budget would probably be thrown on links for 6 months, whatever. But again, it's where do you send those links to? And as you rightly say, Chris, sending them to those kind of top level pages is probably the best place to start. And then from there, you can reassess and say, right, you've got your competitor analysis tools like your Ahrefs, SEMrushes, and you obviously you've got analytics. What pages are bringing in the most traffic, and then start to, if I've got a page that's in position 5 for something that gets 40,000 searches a month, I want that in position 1. So I'm going to be building links to that page. That's the way I would start to decide where my money goes, and that's follow the money from there on in is what I'm doing. But yeah, each to their own.
And then can I just to expand on this because I think it'll be helpful. So let's stick with this 500 articles, right? We've now restructured. Would you prune or would you freshen? Would you analyze to figure out where's their traffic coming? Anything that's just dead and Google's not rewarding, would you dead that or would you freshen it up?
I mean, I've got a situation just now. Like my website's not quite 500. I had 400 articles. Probably 30 of them get any traffic. Now, what I decided to do was obviously, get rid of some of the garbage that just couldn't be used again. Just get rid. There's no point in it being there. But I did try and merge some of the articles to and stuff like that. Again, like we said at the start, you don't want to waste anything. So you do have to prune. You do have to get rid of some garbage on there. And, my strategy before to my content writer was all wrong. I basically said to her, so I'll tell you that a bit of the story and I'll be very quick about it. I have a friend who's an Indian guy and he's got a website called shoutmeloud.com. And we were both speaking at a conference and we're both like, we're talking about what we do day to day. And I'm like, I've got this, I've got that. And we're talking about the blog and all that stuff. And I thought I was doing okay as a blogger, having 400 articles out there. And he turns around and says, like, I've got fucking, 4,000 articles or whatever it was. And I'm like, what? And I looked at his sitemap and he basically ranked for everything, how to get more Twitter followers, all sorts of random stuff. So my content writer was with me at this conference and I said to her,
she's like hiding.
Yeah. I was just like, follow what he's doing. Anything that's getting traffic that he's got, fucking follow it. And that was my strategy for a year. And she was just battering content after content after content after content. And it was all wrong. That was the wrong thing to do. I don't even know why. I'm just like, I want to fucking beat him. Like, I felt like just a worthless blogger. But that was the wrong approach. And a lot of it didn't stick, to be honest with you. And I think, pruning is an important part of any website. Quality over quantity really is the best way to look at it. And if you can merge some of the content, I would do that as well. So I'd be looking at that and seeing whether it was salvageable, if I could merge it, and try and cut that down, to somewhat. There's no point in having dead stuff on there.
Do you I run into this frequently. Do you feel that targeting every keyword, right? Do you think that it dilutes the site's ranking ability?
Yeah, I believe
100%, right?
Yeah.
I know. I've been finding this. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for example, if my website had 100 articles on it, would those 100 articles rank a lot better than it would if I had 200 articles? 100%, I believe so. So I personally believe that. I've got no scientific evidence to prove that or anything, but that's something I believed for a long time.
Why isn't that crazy though? Because you would think more pages internally linked, more authority. But there's like almost you have to find that happy medium for your, you know what I mean? Like you have to find that perfect. And then
here's a good analogy of that, Chris, right?
Yeah.
So you're in the gym and you're benching 80 kilos, for example.
160.
So you're doing that and then someone loads on another 20 and then another 20. Your arms are going to start to drop and drop. And I believe that's what happens with your website as well, because people are not building links at the same volume as they want to add content. And I think, the balance isn't right there. And, in the real world, if you had unlimited funds, you would essentially be building links to all of your blog posts and everything, if money allowed. And we're not doing that. And we're using internal links and we're doing everything to try and pass power about a website. But I just firmly believe that a website just begins to kind of crumble. And it's how many people prune their website and see massive jumps back up. Go look at my traffic in Ahrefs right now. In fact, I'll show you myself. I'll share the screen. Fuck am I? Share screen. Share screen. Boom. Now, if I go to my own website, you'll see a massive increase. And that is when that pruning started. It started to dip and dip again, get into April, and then the pruning started, and boom, it started to take off again. Keywords are jumping up. That was probably about 6,000 keywords a couple of weeks ago. It's now up to 8,300. So as far as I'm concerned, I've not built that many more links. But what I have done is pruned a lot of the content, and stuff has started to shoot back up in the right direction. So
same with YouTube.
Yeah.
I noticed that same thing. I noticed that from Chase. When he ditched a bunch of videos, the views would shoot up, and I'd be like, "That's so strange."
Less is more. I think like both of us have started in YouTube and just tried to smash the shit out of it, and that's good. But I think you have to prune and get rid of some of the garbage. So
I agree. It's hard. It's hard, because you think, some of those videos, it might only be 5 or 6 minutes, but it might have took a lot of thought to think about, hey, how can I condense this into just a 5-minute burst of information? It's difficult, kind of.
Yeah, but the way I would see it now, and you've got SEMrush and everything that's got a YouTube video tracker. If the videos are getting no rankings and no traffic and no nothing anymore, then what's the fucking point in them being there?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and traffic's I think that's the true determination of the authority of the site, 100%.
Yeah.
And as long as you're hitting that range, like, because if you look at your traffic and your traffic range, if you produce pieces of content within that range, you probably rank right away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed there's a big variation there between DR and UR, but when I go and check trust flow, there's such a dip there. What
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I mean, I don't really trust Majestic stuff. I just
mess with it.
Using it. I mean, I used to use it, and and my belief all along was you wanted the trust flow and the citation flow to be a lot more closer together, because obviously trust flow, it's the same as DR and UR.
Right.
Domain rating and URL rating, you want them to be similarly close. You're not going to expect your URL rating to be higher than your DR or anything like that, but you'd expect those figures to be relatively close. And even if I go to Ahrefs, my personal website, the UR is 52, the DR's 56. That's fine. I'm happy with that. But you do sometimes see UR 20 and
that's a strong
UR 56, and I think at that point you have to look at it and say, right, there's something underlying here that's not right. There's something sketchy's going on in terms of the link building or whatever. There's something not quite right. But these tools are not that accurate, to be honest. It says you get X amount of traffic, and you always know it's a hell of a lot higher. So take these things with a pinch of salt, to be honest.
We derailed the questions for today. Sorry.
But Jude McLean has a website in the parenting niche. Brilliant links, started broad, but it's extremely competitive. Any tips on how I can gain traction?
Parenting niche, you have a lot of links, but it's broad. I mean, I see this a lot. Like, you're doing everything right. The only thing that's setting you apart is time, right? So brilliant links, good content in a competitive niche. Keep doing exactly what you're doing and give it time and stop focusing. I would stop dwelling on it. It'll come, but it's going to take you a lot of time. Go look at your competition. How long have they been there? Domain age is 5, 10, 7 years, right? So give it time, my friend. It'll come. I run into that a lot with clients. I'm doing everything right, Chris. And they are. And I'm like, yeah, but your site's only 6 months old, bro.
What do you say to this, Chris? Should we get Chase on next week and get him to demo this fucking tool?
I don't know. Let me flip a coin. No, I don't see anything wrong with that. Sure.
Chase, I'll hit you a message. If you can't do next week, we can do it one of the other weeks. But yeah, I'm happy to get you on this time next week, and we can show people the tool and chat about it and get you answering some questions as well. It's always good to have a guest on now and again. I'll try and quickly go through the rest of the questions. We've not got that many anyway, so 4 minutes left.
Hey guys.
Yaniv, hey guys, is there a way to verify an algorithmic penalty on a website?
Yes. I mean, you're going to see a consistent decrease. There hasn't been any updates, or on the update times, there hasn't been a drastic decrease, which would signify, hey, I was whacked with this. But if you're seeing a steady decline, right? And you think you're doing everything right, this would generally be an algorithmic. This is something, you know, you could have just built something wrong. You're probably not optimized right. Your internal linking is off. Like there's something there that's you're getting whacked. I see this a lot, and these are the hardest to identify. But if you're seeing a steady decrease, this might be algorithmic. You might need to really look at what you did in the past. And I'm sure you're keeping track with your campaigns. Like, hey, what links was I building? What's the content I've been putting out? Like, what are you doing? I'm sure you're tracking it, I hope.
Yeah.
Do you track, not necessarily for the client, but for your own internal, like, okay, hey, on this date, I just keep it on a notepad. I just, I did this on this date, not the time, just the date. Like, okay, I did this. Do you do that? Or probably not anymore, but did you?
No, absolutely.
Oh, no?
I probably should have. I think it would be the right thing to do if you're working on, a large number of websites, because you don't know what's been done. We did use spreadsheets and stuff, but to be honest, it was a bit of a mess, because I would just go in and do stuff to the website and never mark the spreadsheet down, and then we didn't know fucking your ass from your elbow. I think that's where you need to try and get a good CRM or something if you're doing websites at a large scale. Obviously, I work on my own websites, so I kind of know in my head what I'm doing. I'm just not a kind of CRM guy. It just interrupts my flow of thinking, I'm going to have to go and document what the fuck I've done. I don't particularly want to do that. But I think, if you're running an agency or you're working with clients, then that is a very sensible thing to do, because how would you know if you've done citations, whether you've done internal links? I mean, you could go in and manually check it, but you don't want to be fucking checking that stuff all the time. You want to systemize it, and that's...
Were you systemizing within like a process street, or were you systemizing within the CRM for the, like, did you have, like, I see some guys, like, I'll see it in ClickUp, right? Which is what I was using, but I don't really necessarily like it. Do you do that inside your, like, do you make standardized SOPs, or is it right within the CRM? Like you have it built out? How do you go about doing that when you had your agency?
When I had my agency, let's just be clear, I was a massive failure with an agency.
Fair enough.
In terms, I stopped running an agency myself 6-7 years ago. One of the biggest failures was I didn't have the right processes in place, Chris. I don't mind admitting that. My processes were shocking. They were shit. The reality of it was it just wasn't run very well, and that was down to me and a lack of training, processes, and systemization was one of the biggest reasons that I struggled to scale in the end. And I was super stressed because everything was in my head, and I started to get anxiety and all that stuff. So I still do have a 50% share in an agency just now, which I have absolutely nothing to do with the day-to-day running of it. And we do have everything documented. There's a process for every last single thing, so that different people, if I had to grab someone else and say, right, go and do that, then they would have the documentation and the training to do that. So I think it's super important. But when I was running an agency of my own, it was sloppy as shit, and I didn't have it, and that pretty much led to the failure of it. So
would you mind? I mean, I know we're still streaming here, but so if you could, the lessons, right? So what wouldn't you do if you were doing it again? What wouldn't you do?
I I wouldn't take on clients just for the sheer hell of it. I think before I was taking on clients just because I had, like, say it was 15 grand, what I had to get to break even, counting staff costs and offices and all that stuff. If I had 15 grand and say someone at £1,000 a month would drop off, I knew that I had to fill that gap of £1,000. Now, whether that was, 3 guys paying 350 quid each or whatever, I would just grab anything. Even if it was 10 guys paying 100 quid a month each, I was taking anything. I was not giving a fuck. And that's the wrong thing to do, because it led to me taking on the wrong type of clients. And again, I just felt as if I was drowning all the time in client bullshit. And
mapping your client avatar would be one of the lessons. Like, this is the number, this is the type of client, and no matter what, that's what it needs to be. That would be, sorry, it stopped. Darn it. No!
Oh, what the fuck? I'm back. So what I was saying there is, be prepared to say no to 50% of the leads that come through to you. And also the second biggest thing would be sort out your processes and delegation. Do not sit and try and do it all yourself to save money. And those processes have to be on point. If the process is wrong, the whole thing's going to go wrong. So those two things are the biggest things that I would do. Also, I think, I was a power freak. I wanted everything to come through me when I ran the agency. And I think that led to a lot of problems. I should have delegated more, relied on people more, trusted people more. And, because I didn't, I always found myself super stressed, and the work inevitably started to suffer, because I was just churning stuff out, as quick as I could. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but it was all a learning curve for me. I knew what I was doing, but it was just a fucking shit show.
Just the last very thing too is, I see that the most, or at least from the outside looking in, the most successful seem to have them in-house. Do you think that it's not achievable to find success with a virtual team?
I would say you can do better with a virtual team, to be honest.
Okay.
I think, again, one of the failures is that I had in my mindset that hire everyone local. Now, the cost of that was going through the roof. So overheads were massive. And was the quality any better than what I could get out with? I would disagree. I would say there's a lot of talent out there, whether it's Eastern Europe, Asia, whatever, that deserve the opportunity to make money, and they work a lot harder. Some of the work ethics are better. I'm not saying don't hire local, but the middle management for me are local people. The rest of the grunt work, it would make perfect sense to use a country that's got a lower cost of living and still get the same results. But when we talk about this stuff, that stuff wasn't that big when I was running an agency. I started my agency probably in 2007 or something, and ran it up to about 2014 or 2015. So, the outsourcing and stuff, although it was still a thing, it wasn't as big as it is now. I didn't have, the contacts I have and stuff. And as I say, I was a bit of I want someone here that I can keep my eyes on and all that kind of stuff. And again, it was just the whole mindset was all over the place, completely wrong. So I would certainly say I know of guys who outsource pretty much everything abroad, don't have any local staff, and they've made a success of it. So it can be done.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, just curious, Just
so
wondering.
Go. I'm just seeing if there is any other.
Would you hyper specific focus on, like, say, organic search? Would you diversify the amount of services, or would you just hyper specific focus on what you're like truly good at?
I did run an agency where we done everything, and near the end, I went very specific to SEO. I just felt that web design was something that was just a pain in the backside, hard to make profit on because of the amounts of changes. I found it quite stressful. Paid PPC and all that kind of stuff, again, could do it relatively easy. It's not that different from SEO in terms of research and stuff. But again, people want to talk and bug your brains and pick your brains and stuff. So I think stick to what you're good at. I know guys that have link building services, and that's it. They don't do anything else other than link building. And I think you can now be very, 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 very good at something and still make a ton of money. So I think it's sometimes dangerous to try and offer too much, because it just brings stress and hassle to the business that you just don't need. So something to think about. But I want to answer this.
Sure.
Michael Murray. Do you personally do outreach for links or get a decent provider in Black Hat world? You can use linksforyou.com, Michael. I'm not saying there's bad people in Black Hat world. I would just be very careful on what you buy on there and who you buy it from, because there are more good than bad on. More bad than good on there. Yeah. Just be careful what you buy on there.
As long as you can produce what you say you're selling, you're approved. So anybody can go on there and sell. You got to be cautious. Not everybody cares about quality. That's for sure. I can show you my tax bill from last year to prove that. I'm like, no, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. Yeah.
And the final one we can answer for today, Ian McDonald. I know you always talk about SEO Autopilot. What are the best diagrams in your experience, and is it still effective for boosting tier 2s? The last one first. Yes, it's still effective. In terms of the diagrams, you would need to speak to Elias. The diagrams that I've got are his personal ones that are on my account, and I don't think they're all on the platform itself. I'm not sure if that's changed or not, because I don't know what's different between yours and mine, but I know he had some special ones that he gave to people. So I use ones that belong to Elias. He made them up, but I'm not sure if that's changed or not, because again, I've not seen anyone else's SEO Autopilot. But there are, they have a group in there, so they're probably best positioned to answer that. But I've got a couple of special ones from Elias that works for me. But on that note, it is coming up for 6:10, so it is over time. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Make sure you check out Mr. Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube. Please. He also does his private training and all that stuff, which I'm sure you'll find links to in his YouTube. And we will be back again next week, and hopefully we might have Chase Rayner shown us this new tool that he's got, which is in beta mode. So look forward to seeing that. But in the meantime, guys, catch you all later on.
Thank you. See you in the next one.